Have you ever sat down to work, opened your laptop, and somehow, 30 minutes later, you're watching random videos, scrolling through your phone, or just staring at the screen? You want to be productive. You know what you should be doing, but your brain just doesn't cooperate. And then the worst part happens. At the end of the day, you feel guilty, like you wasted time you can't get back. Here's the strange thing, though. Most productive people aren't working harder than you. They're just using one extremely simple habit that makes starting work almost automatic. And once you understand it, productivity stops feeling like a battle. Most people think productivity is about discipline. Wake up earlier, force yourself to focus, push harder. But that's not how the brain works. Your brain is designed to avoid effort whenever possible. If something feels overwhelming or unclear, your brain instantly looks for an escape. That's why you suddenly feel the urge to check messages, grab a snack, or scroll for just a minute. It's not laziness, it's friction. The bigger a task feels, the harder it is to start. And starting is the hardest part of productivity, which is where this habit comes in. The habit is called the 5-minute start rule. Here's how it works. Instead of telling yourself, I need to finish this entire project, you tell yourself something much smaller. I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes. That's it. Not an hour. Not the whole task. Just 5 minutes. Because your brain doesn't resist small starts. And something interesting happens once you begin. There's a psychological effect called momentum. Starting creates energy. Think about pushing a heavy car. At first it feels impossible, but once it starts rolling, it becomes easier to keep moving. Work is the same way. When you start a task for just 5 minutes, your brain begins to engage with it. Ideas start forming. Focus starts building. And most of the time, you don't stop at 5 minutes. You keep going. Not because you forced yourself, but because momentum took over. Let's say you need to study. Your brain says, this is going to take hours. Instant resistance. But if you tell yourself, I'll just read 1 page, suddenly it doesn't feel heavy anymore. You read 1 page, then another, then maybe 10. The same thing happens with workouts. Tell yourself you have to exercise for an hour, and you'll avoid it all day. But say, I'll just do 5 minutes. Now it feels easy to start. And once you're moving, stopping feels harder than continuing. The first step is shrinking the starting point. Not the goal, just the start. Instead of, write the whole report. Start with, open the document. Instead of, clean the whole room. Start with, pick up 5 things. Small beginnings remove resistance. And removing resistance is the secret to productivity. The second step is removing distractions before you start. Because if your phone is right next to you, your brain will choose the easier option. So make starting easier than quitting. Put your phone in another room. Close extra tabs. Clear your workspace. When there's less friction around you, the 5-minute start becomes even more powerful. This is the biggest mindset shift. Stop focusing on finishing. Focus on starting. Finishing is overwhelming. Starting is simple. Productive people don't wake up motivated every day. They just start anyway. And motivation usually shows up after the work begins, not before. Most people wait to feel ready before they work. But readiness rarely comes first. Action creates readiness. Momentum creates motivation. And tiny starts create massive results over time. That's how books get written. Businesses get built. Skills get mastered. One small start at a time. So here's something I want you to try today. Pick 1 task you've been avoiding. Just 1. And instead of telling yourself you have to finish it, tell yourself you'll work on it for 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. You might stop after 5. But chances are you won't. Because once you start moving, productivity stops being a struggle. It becomes momentum. And sometimes one small habit is all it takes to change everything. Start small. Start today. Let's improve together.